How's everybody doing? My name is Marcelo Sanchez. I am currently the Dean of Students at Trout Academy. Trout Academy is a middle school found in the Hunts Point section of the Bronx. Uh, so that being said, my CRLA improvement plan deals with improving student attendance at the school, namely looking at the students that are chronically absent and severely chronically absent. So a little background on the school itself. Like I said, we're found in Hunts Point section of the Bronx, so it's a very low income section of the Bronx. A lot of the students that come to our school, for the most part, are low performing. So as such, a lot of them don't really understand at this time the value of why it's important to have a good education. So because of that, that affects their attendance because they don't, see that value of their education. A lot of them don't see anything wrong with taking a day off here, taking a day off there, and then a lot of it starts adding up. Okay, so the focus of CRLA, improving student attendance. Uh, Focus of the improvement initiative will be in students that have been classified as chronically absent, severely chronically absent, what we just finished saying. So, looking at school data, according to the school quality review from last year, snapshot, New York City student attendance was 94%. Trout Academy's student attendance was 94%, so we're on average with the city. For the city, chronically absent was 17%. For our school, chronically absent was 20%. So a little bit more than what the city's averaging. So why is school attendance important? When you're missing school, you're missing out. Okay, if you're not in school, you're not learning. So why are students absent? So one of the first things that we did as part of the CLA was really try to take a look at why we have these students that are severely absent and chronically absent, and what's the reasons for it, right? So for a lot of the kids we have is familiar matters. So a lot of the kids, they come from different backgrounds where going to school may not necessarily be the number one priority that they have. So a lot of them, missing out on school because of things that their families is having them do, whether it be taking care of younger siblings. We've had some students that could not come to school for several days because there was nobody to watch little brother, little sister at the home, and as such, they had to take care of the kid because mom and dad were off working. Some of the kids live in shelters. Because of that, they're unable to make it to school every day. Also, we have looking at students in terms of their personal things. So a lot of them, they don't have connections to the school. So a lot of the research that I was looking at went over that the students that tend to be absent a lot in school, they don't have any connections to the adults that's in the building, whether it be the teachers, the staff. They don't feel a part of that community. So as such, it really doesn't mean anything to them of being absent. So the CRLA plan, we made a committee made up of myself, our CBO director, guidance counselors, our attendance worker, parent coordinator, and our CBO success mentors. We meet weekly to go over attendance data. We identified the students that we're going to be working with. We're going to provide each one of those students a mentor from that team. We're also going to provide outreach for the parents so that the parents have somebody at the school that they'd be able to be in contact with. We're going to hold parent workshops for the families so they can understand the importance of attendance. Our CBO is going to help assist these families with any of these type of personal problems that we mentioned before. So whether it be helping them find a babysitter or a place with that can help them with the younger brother and sister, we can do that. And we also want to come up with incentives for the kids that when they start improving their attendance. So things like gift certificates. We're working on making trips. So all those things have been what we've been discussing in our meetings, our weekly meetings. So in terms of how we're going to evaluate, we're going to use formative assessments in order to evaluate it. We want to make sure that we're taking measurements every week to see how the attendance looks. We're going to use check-ins and check-outs every day, so we'll be able to know immediately whether or not the kid's in school or not. And then as time progresses, we're going to be looking at how those attendance percentages are changing. So why does this work matter? So like we said before, if the students aren't in school, they're not learning. If they're not learning, they're not setting themselves up to be successful in the future. So data shows that students that have low attendance in elementary school and middle school are much more likelier to drop out when they reach high school. Okay, so I stress education very much at the school, especially for this population, because they don't really understand why it's something so important. So I want to make sure that these guys understand that the more that you're absent now when you're younger, it leads down a road that you don't want to go, and a road that's not going to have a whole lot of success. As well as low student attendance also has effects on the school as well in different aspects. So if the kids aren't in school, they're not going to perform well on their state tests. You don't perform well on those state tests, that has a negative effect on the teacher. It's not going to be rated well. If the teacher's not rated well, the test score's not rated well, the school's not going to be rated well. Then you start talking about school closure and things of that nature. So, all these things are interconnected to one another. So that's why we really want to stress and put a lot of focus on that attendance. Because like I said before, if the kids aren't in school, they're not learning. So this is something that we've been able to start during my time in this first class, and we're going to keep moving forward, and I'm looking forward to updating the progress that we've made with the plan. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.